What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to talk about Little Hope. Little Hope actually now has at least, I guess, a release window. It does not have a release date, but at least has a release window, guaranteeing it's coming out in the summer of 2020, unless, I guess, it gets delayed again. And that is part of this video, too. So I kind of want to talk about this release window. I want to talk about that. This game has definitely been delayed, but ultimately, if it can improve from Man of Medan, which I will try to call it that. I know I always say Man of Medan. I think it's just easier, but I'll try and call it, how most people call it, because it's important. This is a game franchise that I've talked about. We talked about the Dark Pictures anthology back when it was first announced, and I had said, hey, it's okay. I will sign up for it. It's fine. It's something that I will support. But 8 games over 4 years, the fact that they've even gone out on record and said, hey, we're not changing the base gameplay of the game. It's going to basically function. And I would imagine the engine wouldn't improve all that much either. They're going to stay relatively the same throughout the duration of these games. And so it's okay. I mean, it can get very repetitive, very boring. It could definitely go south very, very quickly. I don't think it would do that in the first couple games, but eventually I feel like there'd be some problems. And Man of Medan was solid. I mean, I thought it was a really good game. It didn't reach the lengths of Until Dawn. I don't think it was anywhere near close to it, but it was a solid starting point that did have some problems I want to get worked out. So let's read really quickly what they said about this. So we've been delighted by the reaction from players and the success of Man of Medan as the first installment of the Dark Pictures anthology. We really appreciate feedback from the community, and the team remains committed to the goal of making each new installment deliver further thrilling horror experiences, with the next chapter, Little Hope, bringing an all-new and disturbing horror story to the anthology. So they're taking, obviously, what they learned from Man of Medan, which is great. I mean, that's what we kind of expected. Now, the system that they had talked about, and the reason, I mean, this game has been delayed. I think factually it has, because they had talked about 8 games, 4 years. They would try to release them every 6 months. Now, that would have actually had it released in February. And on my second channel, I even said, where is this game? It's the end of February. We were supposed to actually get it now, and with no announcement, obviously we weren't going to get it. And now we kind of know, hey, they're announcing it. And, this is exactly what I was expecting, right? A full-on announcement. This is the announcement. Again, a release window, not a release date. But this is that full-on announcement, but it's not till the summer, which I would imagine they're going to line up exactly how they did Man of Medan like they did last year, where it's probably late August. That's what I would honestly imagine this would be. So this is the problem. I don't know how I'm going to title this video, but let me tell you that there is a problem going on. Firstly, again, I just want to state, I liked these games. I liked the first game. I liked Until Dawn. In fact, I loved Until Dawn. Is one of the best PS4 games ever created. Supermassive Games has earned my trust for the most part. However, you come out and you make the alarming thing with this anthology that, again, hey, 8 games, 4 years. We think it could probably get stale eventually. There are going to be some problems. And already in the first, in between, you've delayed your game, and now it's taken a full year. That is not, in my opinion. Now, I get it. I guess I'll address that in a second. Just hear me out. That is not a good starting point. I believe I said that on the other channel's video too, right? Where it's okay, if you have first game release, second game release, third game release, okay, they're all 6 months back to back, so they're doing really solid. And then the fourth game, they're okay, we've made 3 games, we're trying to do our promise, where we're trying to make these games come out on time. We're gonna really try and nail down, again, 8 games, 4 years, every 6 months we release one. We've done that for the first 3, and now we need a little bit more time. I think it's a little bit easier to accept when it's game 4, when it's game 5, when it's game, you know what I mean? When it's further on, because at that point, they've released so many that maybe they're getting backed up, right? It could be a Telltale situation where they're just working on so many things that it just becomes overwhelming, and I get it. And so we'll address that in a second again. But it's just more, I think I'd accept it more if it happens. The way it's happening now is it's a little alarming, because again, there's already the worry, and now the first game, literally because Man of Medan was the first game, right? But this is the first one that they have to start doing the every 6-month rule in order to fit these games all in, right? So this has to be the first, and they've already delayed it. Now, I am not saying I don't support delays. I'm not saying that the delay is a bad thing, because ultimately it is not. I definitely, so if anybody says anything in the comments about that, it's very clear. Look at the time post. It's very clear they didn't make it past like 4.5, 5 minutes into this video, okay? Because I do like delays. Delays are completely fine. That whole saying, I don't even know how the saying goes, but, a game delayed is totally cool because it gives them a chance to continue working on the game. It's better than putting it out in a failed state, okay? So I'm not saying that the delay itself is my problem, okay? I'm absolutely not. It's fine. In fact, Little Hope's trailer looks really solid. I think it's a very different take on what they've done so far. More of that kind of, they said they didn't really give any hints, right? Disturbing horror story. It seems a little like Ghost aspect-y, which I like. I like that they're maybe going down that path. Maybe like a little bit like an Outlast 2 crossed with, I guess Outlast 2 had like the whole ghost sections, right? When you were in like the school. So like I think if they did something like that, Outlast 2. Outlast 2 was a phenomenal game. So if Little Hope is like Outlast 2, it's completely fine. And ultimately, I will get this game. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, and I think that these games are solid, so I will continue to support them. And I think I do have a right to also criticize or call them out when something like this kind of happens. But again, I'm not criticizing the delay itself. The delay itself is fine. Again, I'd rather have it come out in another 5-6 months rather than it comes out now and it's literally half done, or whatever percentage it actually is. It's just I am a little worried that already, like, then when does the third game come out? Are we waiting till the summer of 2021 for the third game? Because actually the third game would have or supposed to have come out in the summer of 2020, right? Because Little Hope was supposed to come out in February, and the third game would probably come out around August again if they wanted to keep that. So like again, we're in the situation where they're backing it up, and I guess it's fine. Just stretch it another half year or full year, say 8 games in 5 years instead. But I think it kind of just goes to what people had said when they first announced that, where it's like, can't you just make a really, really big game, take your 4 years and just make one massive game? And they'd rather split it into sections, and I see both. I honestly see both. I would kind of have preferred an Until Dawn 2 or just a full-on horror game. But at the same time, I like the idea of twice a year or every 9-ish months. Probably at this point we can extend the 6 months, right? Maybe every 9 months or so you play a 3, 4, 5 hour horror cinematic experience that is these supermassive games. I think that's also a pretty cool thing that we don't really have. It's like a Telltale thing, or it's like an episodic thing, but higher budget. I would argue higher budget, higher a lot of things, So I do like and appreciate the way they're doing it, that they are being unique. And ultimately, again, depending on what this title is, I kind of wanted to nail any talking point just in case of what I call this. But I think I like the way they've said it, because they have worded it in, hey, we've listened to what you guys have said. And ultimately, could they have really implemented what we have said with Man of Medan in August to get ready for a game releasing in February? Could they have fit that in 6 months? I don't know, and I don't really think so. Could they have done it for a year? Yeah, that seems more likely. So I get that part is good, right? That they are listening to our feedback, that they have listened to what we have said about that game, and that they are going to implement it into Little Hope. Again, I think I even made a video that actually a lot of people support. A lot of people really liked it. When we, at the end of Man of Medan, when Little Hope's trailer played, where I talked about, could it be better? And a lot of people that I've seen in the comments had said, this is, seeing that trailer, they felt good, right? They felt this game was iffy. It was good at parts, it was bad at parts, but Little Hope does actually look like it could be really solid, right? So I think people were already excited for it. People were already going to still give it the benefit of the doubt. Again, this game needs to be, I'd say, not just good, but better than good, right? Because if you continue to have these average, maybe even slightly above average, even if they're slightly above average, but again, you're having 3, 4, 5, 6 of these games. It's eventually are people going to stop doing it? Are people going to stop supporting it? And I don't want them to, but I just feel like that could eventually happen. So guys, Let me know in the comments below. What do you think? You excited for Little Hope? Are you going to be getting it? What did you think of Man of Medan back in August? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you guys subscribe to this YouTube channel, Podcast Now, and hit the bell icon so you guys know when these videos go up. And we will obviously continue to cover Little Hope. I played Man of Medan last year, so I'll do the same thing with Little Hope. We'll live stream it. We'll make videos on it. We'll talk all about it on this channel. So make sure to look out for that in the summertime. And in the meantime, check out all our other coverage of all the other games that we talk about on this channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you all on the next video.